Today I want to be a bit self-indulgent, as always, and talk about my 2016. It is now definitely 2017, it's February. This is not going to be another update video, I promise, but it might be a little bit, so I'm sorry. Just thinking, I can't really remember much of the start of 2016. What was I doing? Where was I? Oh, I was doing my dissertation. That was one thing I was doing. I did my dissertation on... I'm already forgetting the title. What is this? Virginia Woolf's Queer Futurity, Intimate Spaces and the Impossibility of Future. That is what I did it on. I wasn't particularly proud of the end product of my dissertation, even though it got a good mark, but I feel like my ideas that I discussed in my dissertation were kind of a bit original, a little bit risky, dealing with queer theory, something that I didn't know a huge lot about. I was on Mrs. Dalloway to the Lighthouse and the Waves. I have to thank my dissertation tutor for just pushing me and making me look at theory and ideas and taking risks, which is something that I struggle with in kind of my work a lot of the time. But it paid off and it made me a lot more of a confident student and confident in my own ideas and, however cheesy this sounds, in my own academic voice. In fact, my whole third year I grew in confidence so much, and that was a lot to do with my lecturers and with the fact that they found out about my YouTube channel, which gave me an extra sense of identity, I think. I really enjoyed my third year of university, and in fact I enjoyed all my years at York St John, and I can't recommend it enough. I finished my taught lessons in May, and I think my essays were also due in May. And in May something else also really important happened on a completely personal level, and that was that I fell in love for the first time. And I'm still in love, and yeah. His name's Ben, in fact you can see him there, looking very dapper in a suit. He's also been in a couple of videos, and I'm going to get him in more because he's really funny, and he plays up to the camera quite a lot as well, which is quite fun. He's very kind, really kind to deal with me, and extremely patient, again, to deal with someone like me. We're very different people. He's very much to my sensibility. I'm very much impulsive, talkative, temperamental human being, and he is none of those things. He's also a massive geek, something that I'm not in that way, like the subculture of geek, so I now know what an RPG is and what Dungeons and Dragons is, and I kind of know how to play Magic the Gathering. Every time I've played, I've won, but I'm not quite sure, I mean, okay, I hate making decisions, and so when you put the cards out, you have to pick which card you're going to use, or what are you going to attack, are you going to sit back, or whatever. I can't make the decision, so I always end up going what do you think? What would you play? Which one do you think I should do? So he basically has to play my game anyway. So any strategies I seem to have in playing Magic, they're all his strategies because they're all his decisions because I can't make them. Fortunately, and this is kind of linked to Ben in a way, I lost my grandma. I hate it when people say they lost someone, like I lost her in the supermarket. But it's the way we skirt around death, isn't it really? Yeah. Me and my grandma were very close. We're pretty much the same human being. Very talkative, very nervous humans. I went to see her in a care home actually. I didn't know at the time this would be the last time I'd see her or talk to her. She was very happy, very funny, very smiley. In fact, her last kind of words she said to me were to her carer, and she was like, it's my granddaughter. She's going to be Prime Minister one day. My grandma so thought I was going to go into politics because we talked about politics a lot. She was very left-wing and open-minded. And yeah, I love that was, it was kind of her way of saying, that girl can do anything she wants to do. She has power. She was just such a wonderful person. But my regret is that I went to see her, and I was dating Ben at the time, and I told my dad, and my dad said, tell Grandma, she'll love this. But because I was due to leave York, very soon, I didn't know if my relationship would become anything, so I made the decision not to tell her. And I wish I had, because how she would have loved the gossip. She would have wanted to know all the information. It was an important thing that I would have liked to have shared with her. And it's kind of impacted my opinions on when I share things and how I share things, which again is another video idea. I mentioned how Ben was my sense to my sensibility. Well, this became very clear in 2016 because I really do like live my life by my heart and not really my head, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. And even in like my personality test, I'm like 97% feeling and like a little bit of thought. But I made a decision to stay in York. You know, not entirely on love. I didn't want to leave York, but it was a huge part of it, if I'm being honest. We were dating, and in May I was going to come back for a really long time, and then I went back to York to, you know, to see where it would go. And then when in June I moved all my things back home, I very quickly started to look for somewhere to live. My friend happened to have a room free, and so I decided that is where I wanted to go. So at the very end of July, I moved back to York with no job and no MA place, purely based on my feelings in my heart. That was all I had. Like, I had a house and I had a Ben. That was it. And if a child of mine ever did that, I would think that that was not okay and not a reasonable thing to do. So my MA is an open pathway MA, which means I get to choose from different pathways. I didn't choose any modernism. I did one Victorian module called Questioning the Victorians, which annoyed me a bit, because how can you question the Victorians if you only reinforce the canon and literally do only a couple of women and no people of colour? Got a bit angry. Didn't like it. As in, I enjoyed what I was studying, but I had problems with it. The other module I did was Fashion and Material Culture in the 18th century, and then I started my journey on pretty much just studying the 18th century, which is kind of what I'm doing now. I think it would be really wrong for me to sit here and be like the perfect student, which I think quite a few of you have this perception of me of being a very good student, and I just think it would be wrong for me to make this video and to not talk about how difficult I found the transition. I had a very low point at the start of my MA, which kind of continued for quite a bit of the first semester, feeling a lot more positive now, but I found it difficult. I think, you know, when you've made a lot of big decisions in a small space of time and a lot of life changes, and suddenly it all just hitched like a ton of bricks? That's what happened in my first semester. So I started my MA in September, and then in November I graduated from York St John University with a first. What? How did that happen? I was scared of my graduation actually since the very first day. They told me it was in York Minster, because I was scared of like going on the stage and walking over it. But you know what? It was an amazing experience. It was really, really wonderful. I was with my friends, and the person in front of me, Beth, is a very close friend who I live with, and I was so proud of her. And I remember going over, like crossing over the thing and shaking the Archbishop's hand, having my picture taken. And we were kind of literally running off the stage because I was out of there. I was not hanging around for very long, believe me. And I saw kind of Ben at the end, like this beaming, smiling face, and oh god, that's a soppy thought, but yeah, it was lovely. After my graduation, I kind of just went back to my main. It's kind of all I've been doing, really. In 2016, I spent a lot of time in London because Ben's a Londoner and spending time with his family. But I ended 2016 very happy, in love, which makes me feel sick, in London, and that's how I started 2017. And although essays soon kicked in and the stress all came back of doing an MA, I'm feeling better. And I'm looking forward to what this year has to bring. It's going to be a scary year. It's going to be the first year I'm out of education. God knows what I'm going to do. I hope you all had a great 2016 and you accomplished some amazing things. Hope you fell in love, made new friends, went to new places, I don't know, got new stationery, did something great, lived your life the way that you want to do it. Why did I say get new stationery? Is that what I think's important? Yeah. Please let me know of any goals you have or things you want to achieve or places you want to go and see. Or alternatively, which obviously is on my mind, what stationery you intend to buy this year? Don't ask.